Well, this next young man on here with us today is really actually come out of his shell this season. Currently in his second year with the Lakeshore Habs. He's got 18 goals, 23 assists, 41 points in only 26 games. Is that good? This is actually his second year where this kid has held over a 1 point per game average over 55 games in Junior C. Very impressive. Let's welcome to the show, Smalts Cup champion, shall I say correctly, Marco Sladoje. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, boys? Thanks for having me, and thanks for the tire pump.
Yeah. Hey, man, gotta fucking hook up the boys, man. That's
Yeah, of course.
pretty impressive what you've done so far, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks. It's been a good couple of years, so can't complain for sure.
Mm-hmm. I guess. So you grew up Lakeshore boy your whole life, playing there the whole time, yeah?
Yeah, grew up in Belle River, played Belle River throughout, and always wanted to play for the Lakeshore Canadiens or Belle River Canadiens at the time. They switched over to Lakeshore after, but always wanted to play for Belle River. Growing up watching those games at the old barn, and I was fortunate enough to do so, and fortunate enough to win a championship. So it's been pretty cool.
Love it.
That's awesome. So I'll go back to the earliest from what I can see of your stats here. I'm curious about your Sun County experience playing with all those O3s. I know a lot of those guys went on to they're still playing Junior C, and you get to see them. Talk about your experience playing AAA with Sun County.
Yeah, it was a blast. I went in, I think Adam Major was, and I had like 6 or 7 kids from my AA team that went up, and we kind of played there throughout. I got to play with like Trevor LaRue my entire life, and a couple other boys that that I don't see all the time, like Patrick McManus, or I got to play like Carson Noble, who's on the threes. Played with him all the way throughout. And then it was awesome. We always had like a solid team. We never really got to compete in like the top championship with like Kitchener or Waterloo, but we were always solid. It was a lot of fun. Had a lot of good coaches along the way. Couldn't really say anything bad. It was a lot of fun, a lot of travel, but a lot of fun, that's for sure. I got to play against some boys in like the Windsor AAA. They got a little bit better than us towards the minor midget years, and I get to play against Balmer and Braddock, who are also on the threes now. So it was just a lot of fun. It was a good little experience.
Man, you guys freaking travel everywhere when you play AAA. But not only are you over here, you guys are over in like Michigan. You guys are everywhere, right?
It was crazy. I didn't realize like how much effort my parents really put in until I kind of got older and figured out how much we were actually driving. You do like an exhibition game on the States on like a Thursday, and then you hit a loop in Kitchener or Waterloo for the weekend. And it was nuts. 4 tournaments as well. So it was a lot of travel, but it was a good level of hockey, and it was a lot of fun. So it equaled out.
Lots of miles.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So moving on from I see that same year that you had last time you would have played Sun County, you played with your high school, the Nobles. Was that was one of the years you guys went and won OFSA?
No, I joined the team the year after they won OFSA.
Okay.
We did make it though. We did make it OFSA the next 3 years in a row, actually. So
No big deal.
Dave Bracken was the head coach. He still is there, and we had a really solid team and a lot of good older guys. So me and a couple of the grade 9s who got in, we kind of got mature with a little bit of the older guys, and they were super nice and super cool. So it was a lot of fun. High school hockey is a lot of fun. It's a little bit different than junior hockey or AAA. A little bit more relaxed, but definitely a lot of fun. You get to miss a lot of school, so can't complain.
Oh yeah. And plus, hold on a second. You said you guys made it there 4 years in a row, but won it once, right?
Yeah. So
OFSA?
I was in grade 8, like when they went to OFSA and won the whole thing.
Okay, and then after that, it was 3.
Then after that, I went to grade 9, and we won Wexa, Swasa, and made it OFSA all 3 years, but lost.
Dude,
and I think like the quarters and the semis. And then
I played 4 years of high school hockey. I don't even think I ever even fucking sniffed OFSA.
Yeah, I was super. We were good. We were solid.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
That last year, that grade 11 year with COVID, I thought we had a serious chance. Like we had Dobrich and that, and we had a lot of good grade 11s and a few good grade 12s. And oh man, we were solid that year, but guess we'll never know.
Yeah, COVID fucked everything up, man.
It really did.
Pain.
Yeah, and I used to watch I used to watch this guy play. They were a wagon. I would watch Essex High games, and Essex High was not. They weren't it. They'd get walked 12-2 by Belle River, and it was just
Dude,
they were really stacked. Like you said, they had LaRue and
Oh yeah.
well, they had Dobie and Net, who's nasty, the Serb wall, right?
That
And
this the serve walls with
yeah,
the Serb
oh,
wall, you guys called them?
yeah,
Come on.
Serbian.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious. I
pretty
love it.
awesome.
I love it. So what brought you over to, well, obviously you've obviously said already that you've always wanted to be on the Habs, but when did you get your look? Did you get an invite to camp? Like, how did all this work out for you?
Yeah, I mean, played the first year of major midget,
Mhm.
with like the two age groups. And then at that time, actually the first team that like kind of called me to come out and skate was Essex. So I started kind of skating like with the mini camps and a couple of camps that they held. And then it happened to be that COVID year, so no one really knew what was going on. So I lost like a whole year of just hockey in general there. And then that following, whatever, off season, you would call it, I got a call from Mark asking if I want to sign in Lakeshore. Didn't really go to his skates or anything beforehand, but just got a quick call and he knew I was interested in playing. And I guess he heard from someone else that I was an okay hockey player. So he took the chance on me and just kind of went from there.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. And here we are now where you're
Oh,
well over a point per game and
Yeah.
got a ring for yourself. And I want to hear about that championship you won last year. I mean, dominant team, one of the greatest teams in junior C history. I mean, you're playing with guys who are former OHL draft picks like Jake Nimmo and guys who are kind of, behind the scenes. Then they come out like Trevor LaRue lit up the league last year.
Mhm.
He's doing well in Leamington. Talk about your experience with that team last year and how good they were.
yeah. I mean, when I first stepped into the locker room, I mean, I kind of just took a quick glance and looked at our four OAs, our overagers, and I kind of just thought to myself, like how is this going to be a team? I mean, we had four guys who could have been top junior B players. I mean, Westy was the captain of Leamington, dropped
Mm-hmm.
down. Hims, as you said, Jake Nimmo was a OHL pick and came down to junior C, and then we had Parker and Eric LaRue, and they were both studs. So, and then you go around the other, like in the room, we still had a lot of great other players. I mean, we had,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, Trevor LaRue's been nasty his entire life. I played with him, right? And then even like our coaching staff and just the team that we had around is just super solid. And then I think we started winning a lot of games at the beginning. I think we were like 22, 23-0. And at that moment, we're like, okay, we might actually have a chance to win this thing.
Mm.
And I think it was like at the time where we might have like been undefeated that we got Kyle Walker as a drop down, another solid junior B player. And we thought, okay, like this is our year to make a run. And yeah, I mean, and I couldn't say like enough good things about that team in general. We're just so tight and just so much fun going to the room every day when like you were that good and all the boys were so sick. So I couldn't really like, is there like something in particular you guys want to know? Like just how it went in general?
Yeah,
just
sure. Like, talk about it. The whole experience. Tell us some stories if you want in the
All right.
playoffs, maybe.
I guess just I could take you like on a little run throughout the year. Um, yeah, it started off in playoffs. We started off with Wallaceburg as our first contender, and we got through them pretty easily, and then had a tough 6-game series against Wheatley. And I mean that barn was actually probably one of the craziest barns that we played at. They were throwing fish on the ice, and
Yeah.
they brought us to 6, and we were the favorites, so it was kind of good. It was like a little bit of an adversity push. So we won that series, strangled it out, and then we played Essex, who everyone in the league knew that those two teams would be in the finals that year, and whoever was better those 7 games were going to win. And we were lucky enough to beat them in 6 with that overtime goal. And actually, a funny story. If you look at like the Power Play Sports or any of the clips, I'm actually skating towards the bench, and I never knew my boots moved that slow, but I was skating so slow to the bench, and all I heard was my coaching staff and all my players go absolutely nuts on the bench. I turn around and I see Trevor LaRue throwing his gloves off and going nuts. So I figured we scored. Turn around and I kind of jump in the pile and I fall down, but thankfully none of the cameras caught that. But yeah, I mean, that was just that Essex series. It was crazy. You guys were there, I assume.
It
right?
was awesome to watch, man. What a
Crazy
series.
stuff.
But man, Coach Q had you guys like dialed in though, man. He's so good.
Yeah, that coach. I mean, Coach Q is great. I mean, that coaching staff's awesome. They're so persistent. They're so good at what they want us to do each and every night, and just the way they coach and how they handle themselves is something that you look up to as a player. And they just had us dialed in, had us ready throughout the whole playoffs. Big credit to them goes to how they prepare the team for sure.
He's actually the type too where like if you're slacking, he'll be on your ass too. Like
Oh
he's
yeah,
such a good coach. Like everybody wants up here at all times, and that's what makes his teams always so good.
yeah. He gets loose sometimes, but when he's serious, and you better be ready to play when he wants you to. So
For sure.
So, Marco, what do you think this year has made you like transform into this superstar in the league? Like you're leading our division right now, and just talk about that. What do you think led to you all of a sudden seeing this rise in points and play?
yeah, I think it just had to do with like the confidence and being in the right situations. Being a second year player, you kind of get a little bit more comfortable with the league and how it's built. And then, I mean, I've had two really good line mates too, and I've stayed with them steady throughout the entire year. So they've been setting me up pretty well. I'll give them a shout on here. They might give me a little hassle if I don't with Spencer Higginbottom, who's, I mean, super shifty if you guys watch him and just makes a lot of good plays out there. And then Matteo Frateroli, who just works hard, finds the right places, gets in front of the net, gets us the puck. So I mean,
Yeah.
just a combination of, being a little bit more comfortable and playing alongside those two guys, I'd say is what kind of drove me over the edge this year.
Right on.
Just tell him puck's right here, boys, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to shout out those guys. Frat's a legend, eh? Same with Higgy. He's fast. You're right. He is one fast player.
He reminds me of the Brocco guy from the Spits when he used to play, when he eagles down the Oh my, when he gets going like that, I mean, me and Frat, we got slow boots, so I gotta be a little bit ahead, but no, Frat's a beauty too, so it's been good.
Hey,
Right
so
on.
who do you like freaking hang out with most off the ice?
Like, I mean, from my team, I would say like Matteo Frateroli or like Josh Siren, Eric Bisson, just like that 2003 group that I've kind of played out with. And then I got a couple of really good buddies on Essex, like Carson Noble and Carson Bugley, who I hang around with like every weekend. I mean, me and Bugsy carpool to school all the time. So
I love
yeah, those two guys.
it. I love it.
So, this summer I had watched you guys', and if anyone hasn't watched this, I encourage you to go and follow them on Instagram, the WWHL, and talk a bit about that league and how you guys, what got you starting that up in the summers and just keeping your feet on the ice, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the WWHL, like the dub, it's a pretty good summer league for any junior hockey players watching or any guys interested in skating over the summer. It's a league run by Kevin Bugley, so Carson Bugley's dad. And I think it just started small with like 3 or 4 teams, and it was during like that little COVID pause. So he kind of sent out text, thought it'd be a good idea to get a few teams playing and a group of like decent hockey players coming together and just prepping for the junior season. So he threw out an email to maybe about like 30, 40 guys, and got a response, got some teams going, and then we got a social media page going. And I think that's what really took it off. The next year we might have had 5, and then now I think we're up to 6, maybe going up to 8 teams.
That's
so
crazy.
Into a pretty good summer league, a lot of good players. I mean, we go all the way from like the OHL to like the junior C. So we have a couple OHL guys that came out and skated, and it's been really good. It's a lot of fun. So if anybody's watching, check it out for sure.
Yeah, and funny you should say that. A couple of OHL guys coming out. This is a bit of a preview to anyone listening. Our next interviewee, hopefully, will be Colton Smith. He has agreed to come on the show sometime soon. So I know he played in that summer league, but he couldn't make every game, and people were razzing him for it. But
yeah, well, the games he did show up, he put up 7. So
Jesus.
There you go. Yeah. So now this year, what do you think you guys have to do to get past a powerhouse team like Essex? They're kind of what you guys were last year. And don't get me wrong, you guys are still got a crazy record. Like it's you and Essex right now. There's no one else really up there. Talk about that. What do you feel you're gonna have to do in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, there's no lie. Essex is a wagon this year. they're obviously the favorite going in this, but we've got, as you said, we've got a solid team too. And I think we just gotta, play our game, do the simple things. They have a lot of really good hockey players, so it's kind of hard to just solidify one line for them. They're pretty solid 1 through 4. So we're just gonna have to play our game, play every shift 100%. And as I said, we're gonna have to work each and every shift. We can't take any shift off, because if we do, they're gonna capitalize. And if we want to end up winning this thing and making a run, we're just gonna have to sacrifice the individual game first and come up with the team game first.
Hey,
well said.
Just crazy off the wall question for you. You ever score in overtime?
Haha, I knew this. Yeah, I knew this was gonna come.
Honestly, I don't know anything about it. I just randomly asked.
Oh no.
No.
Is it well now? Okay, well now you got to tell us.
And there is a story behind it.
Okay, well fill us in.
I mean, this year, I scored an OT against Essex. I think it might have been their first or maybe their second loss. I don't know. I'm not too sure. But, I mean, I know they're missing a couple guys that they're in the stands, and I scored. It was just like, I mean, to be completely honest, it was like a lucky bounce off my backhand that went in, and I did like the heartbreaker celly, like I was Bedard, who went through everybody, even though it just went off my toe. And I went in the car the next day for school, and Bugsy was just giving it to me in the car about how I scored, and did the heartbreaker celly, even though it was like it barely went off my stick. Like half the arena didn't even know if I scored, if it was the guy shooting it. So I guess I let him know in that sense that I put it in.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's funny.
Gotta feed it to him. Yeah, that was their second loss.
Yeah,
I was at that game, and when you asked that, I remember they gave him credit for the goal. I honestly didn't even see it touch off Marco. I just who was it? Someone at the point shot it.
Yeah, I think it was like Josh took a little sift to the point, might have hit someone's shin pad, and then Kyle Walker came in with like the slap pass, and he put it right on my tape, right off the toe of my stick. And when I tapped it in, I saw that puck go in. And you don't really score too many overtime goals, and it was a pretty crazy crowd. I mean, it was packed every time Lakeshore plays Essex. So I mean, I gave the fans something to be a little bit excited about with the heartbreaker, but I mean, I got a little heat from it from my buddies, but I mean,
that's okay though. You scored in overtime. You're allowed to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And man, you know what? You guys this year, I'm looking forward to it. And I don't want to be that guy to say it, but once again, it's pretty much inevitable, right? That the finals for the Stobbs, it's likely going to be Essex and Lakeshore. And man has Mr. Sagan. I don't know if he listens to these, but props to him. He has assembled a good squad for Lakeshore. He made a trade midway through the year where he sent off Kyle Blow to Amherstburg for Frat and Bolton. Big trade. Like Nick Bolton, I think that was Amherstburg's 2 best players that Lakeshore got. I was surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure. I mean, Bolts he's so solid, and that a good goalie like that can win you any game and can win you a series. So I mean, both of our goalies, again, we've got really, really strong tandem. So I mean, adding him was huge. And then again, Frat, yeah, he's a really solid player. He's an 03, so he's still got a few more years left. And I mean, it was a really good trade. And yeah, Siegs does wonders like that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Hey, is there anything that you do on like game days? Like, is there a certain like meal that you have to have? Any sort of like, just what do you do when it comes down to? Do you have to have a nap in the afternoon or some shit? Like, what do you do?
To be honest, I'm probably like the least superstitious guy of me. In terms of like, I mean, I usually go to school on Fridays, so I don't really have too much time to really think what I'm gonna do or anything that really changes. I mean, I'll go to school, come home, and then I'm pretty fortunate. My mom's a pretty good cook, so she'll cook up something that's somewhat okay for the game, so I don't have to go and grab something that's not the best. And then, I live like 2 minutes from the arena, so we're supposed to be there maybe like 5:15. I could leave the house at like 5:10 and get to the arena and just walk in. And I mean, there's nothing too serious I do. Always play sewer with the boys, but I feel like for everyone.
Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I know there's some guys that are just like, they just have some weird ones. Like they always have to like eat a certain thing, or mine is, man, I just have to poop before I go out on the ice. That's it. I just got to make sure I'm feeling comfortable when I get out there. I'm sorry, everybody, but I'm serious. But that's just how it goes, man. I can't, it's weird though. If I don't, like, I'll feel fucking off on the ice. Like I don't like it.
Yeah, usually the goalies are weird with that. I always see like whoever the one goalie, whoever's not starting the game, will come out, do the ritual with the boys, play sewer, do lines, and mess around. And the one goalie, whoever start, will be like taping a stick or doing stretches away from the team until we get on the ice. So goalies usually weirder with that. Man, again, I don't have any rituals.
They're weirdos anyways, goalies. They're crazy.
Yeah.
I love you, goalies. Go ahead, Tris.
So you mentioned school a couple of times, just going back and forth there, and I know this is a hockey podcast, but I want you to give credit to yourself and pump your own tires a bit.
Oh.
You're very smart. You're a very smart guy, and my good buddy Cody McKenzie is. I believe you're in the same program. Just talk about what you're doing in school and like what you want to study and what you want to be one day.
Yeah, I'm in biomedical science, so yeah, it's hard time that it's consuming, but I mean, I love learning about that stuff, and I want to be a family doctor, so I want to get into med school, and it's just the combination of doing well in school and research and clubs, and then playing hockey. It's a lot, but hockey's an escape, so it's a lot of fun to be able to get away from the school and go to the rink and see the fellas for a couple hours and come back and handle your business in the books.
Man,
Good
how
for
long is
you.
that? How long do you have to do that for?
So it's a 4-year undergrad, and then I mean, if you're lucky enough to get into med school, it's another 4 years. But usually, you have to take like a master's, and then you could go into med school. So you're looking at 8 or 9 years of just schooling, and then a couple of years residency before you're a doctor. So yeah, it's a lot.
You're
But
looking like 10, 11 years before you
yeah,
can,
it's worth it though.
you're young.
Oh yeah, it's
Definitely.
worth it.
That's
Yeah,
worth
yeah.
You'll be making the dough. But yeah, like so last year, I want to jump back a bit. Talk about I remember in the finals against Clarington, I saw a couple of weird penalties in there. I believe there was a travesty of the game, or am I wrong?
What?
Yeah, no, there was. I mean, that was a big turning point. Their top guy, I think it was their captain, their defenseman. He was super solid. I don't really remember his name, but I know he was also an OHL pick, similar to what Nimmo was, and he was solid. He just came down from junior B that year, and I don't know exactly what happened. I was on the ice. I had no idea when I came back on the bench. I saw them taken out of the game. I actually assumed that he was hurt first because there was like a little bit of a collision. And I guess he might have said something to one of the guys skating by the bench. And I have no idea what he says. I don't even think most of the guys on our team know what he said, but the linesman obviously heard something and kicked them out of the game. And now I'm not going to say that's the reason we won, but it was definitely a huge boost having that guy like not going every other shift. So yeah, that was a penalty in the game though.
That's
What
awesome.
It was crazy.
What was it called as?
Travesty of the game.
Yeah, he might have said something to a player, maybe the ref. It's like when you say something you're not supposed to, and then they kick you out of the game.
Yeah, the only time I had seen it otherwise was and I know it's serious, so I'm gonna try not to sound humorous with it, but up north there's tends to be a lot more like there's native reserves and indigenous reserves. So you'll see like every other day in the northern leagues there'll be like a travesty of the game, and it'll be underscore racial slurs against the native community. So it's people tend to get out of hand up there with that, but that's what I kind of figured. But I'm like, well, there's no one like I don't think it was racially motivated. Most of you guys come from the same background, so
Yeah, I wasn't too sure. I mean, that game was crazy as a whole. There's like 2 penalty shots that we had 2 penalty shots that game.
What?
Like 2 5-on-3s. They might have 2 5-on-3s, and I mean, it was just nuts. Like everything that happened. I think there was a penalty with like someone. This is the first time I ever saw like an infraction penalty where someone broke their stick and tried to play the puck with it and got a penalty. Like it was my heart was racing. Lost a couple of years of my life watching that.
Oh,
That's
that's hilarious.
it was an overtime win, right?
Yeah, it was an overtime win. Weston got the finish, and
who's that guy in the room you got to watch out for? Who's that prankster in the room? Like, who are if some shit's going down in the room? Who's the first guy you're going to?
honestly, I can't really comment too much because if you ask my team, they probably say me first.
Okay, if it's not you,
in terms, you just mean like in terms of pranks?
yeah, just being a
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple good guys. I won't say what they did, but I'll definitely tell you who they are. I mean, Josh Siren's really good with them. He can get you good you're not paying attention. And Dean Albano, our captain, he likes to keep it loose. So both of those guys are real funny jokesters, and they're really good with the pranks. That they got some super creative ones, and then I like to get in there too and mess around with some of the guys, even though I won't admit it was ever me.
That's awesome.
Can you like kind of fill us in on one that you did that was funny?
Yeah, I can do one. There's one guy on our team, Sebastian Tronchin, beauty, great kid. Um, I don't know what it was, but I think me and him, like the day before practice, we were talking about something, and I mentioned I think he mentioned something about how we saw someone tape everyone's equipment together with like sock tape,
Yeah.
just like their gloves, their helmets, their skates all together. And I kind of giggled, and then I came right from school to my practice, and I saw his locker, and I was thinking, okay, man, like I
Now's the
got it.
time.
It'd be hilarious. And I got like his pants, gloves, his skates, his helmet. I think I even threw like a little bit of his undergarments in there. I wrapped up with sock tape in like a massive ball. I left it in the stall when he came in. Nobody snitched on me who was there, so that was good. But then I guess if he watches this, I'm screwed. So,
And you know he's gonna watch it, so
yeah, he's gonna.
sucker.
That's awesome.
That's good though. Hey man, you gotta keep it loose in the room. That's what's gonna keep the boys buzzing on the ice. Keep it loose, keep everybody laughing, have a good time. Because that's when all the swagger comes out.
Oh yeah, as soon as like if your team's loose and you're having a lot of fun, I mean, I think that's all that matters. At the end of the day, it's junior hockey, and you want to be with the boys and have good laughs. And I mean, he took it like a champ. He said whoever did it, he was gonna get it back. So I don't know, maybe I got to check my skates, or he's gonna cut my laces. So
Heads up
hopefully,
now.
yeah.
I love it.
So, with your big year that you're having with points and just your overall play, do you feel that junior B could be in the future, or do you want to be if I could get it out, a lifelong Lakeshore Canadian?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really looking to play junior B. I mean, I'm in school, and it's hectic enough how it is. And I mean, I enjoy my team, and I think we're gonna be. I mean, we're solid this year and for years to come. So I just plan to be a part of it for the next few years. And I mean, I guess you never really know what's set in
Mm.
stone, but I mean, right for now, I don't have any thoughts.
Mhm. Yeah, I love asking the guys who were there. So when I came to Lakeshore the one night and I had Lee with me and he skated you guys, what did you think of the skate?
I mean, I didn't know someone's like hips could move like that. Like he's a sick skater. Um, it was a little bit of a bagger, but um, I think like if you did a lot of times, you could definitely see how it would improve your skating. He obviously knew what he was talking about. It was a lot of fun to have a guy like that come out and skate with the boys and show us all these new techniques. Again, like I'm not the best skater by any means, so I was struggling for sure in that. And then I saw he got like a clip of us on his Instagram, and I saw myself in the crowd, and I was hoping like this story would go down as soon as it can, because whoever saw me chopping up the ice, the Zamboni would have to go over a couple of times. So that's for sure. It was a
He
blast. It was a lot of fun.
I think he had Essex the like same night and he skated them pretty good too. And then but we didn't realize, and we never even looked or anything, but we didn't realize that you guys actually had to play one another the next night. We didn't realize that. So we were like, well, at least we got both of them, you know what I mean? So it was kind of
Yeah,
fair. But
he
yeah,
was,
but it was funny. He had a blast with you guys.
yeah, he was awesome. I mean, we all thanked him for coming. It was a great time. Get to learn a lot from guys like that.
Mhm.
So, I know that I have a page up online, and I do NHL comparisons every once in a while for players' skills and abilities. And just what would you say is your biggest asset as a player? So, like skating, shot, physicality, and who would you say you pattern yourself after from the NHL?
I mean, yeah, definitely not skating, but I mean, I'd probably say like just overall my playmaking, I'm able to see the ice pretty well. Um, and then in terms of like modeling my game after someone I can resemble, I don't really know exactly who. Maybe like a Tage Thompson, just like a bigger guy who can
Okay.
move around. Maybe not got the best boots, but can still keep up out there and make plays and has a decent shot. So yeah, I'd probably say him.
Yeah, so you're absolutely gross, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like a poor man's Tage Thompson.
That's all good. But yeah, I'm happy to hear that. And you know what? I'd agree in most respects. Like you're big. How tall are you?
I'm 6'2", almost pushing 6'3", so I'll probably.
Okay, right on. And you're round two Bills?
Yeah, I'm a buck 93, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. So you got you got a big frame. You got a good power forward build to you, and I obviously it's carrying you well, and you're doing well with that, and I'm very happy to see that, Marco. Once again, we welcome anyone who listens to this show. Like, if you see these guys out in public, like you can see right now, Marco, very nice guy. Introduce yourself to these
Very
people. They're
approachable
happy to
guys.
meet you. Yeah, they're very, very nice guys. Like, I've never personally really spoken to Marco, but I've always heard his name working with Cody, and it's really a pleasure to have you on, Marco. I want you to know that.
Hey, thank you, boys. It's
Yeah.
a pleasure being on here for sure.
One last thing that I have for you, and I just kind of want to ask you, when it comes to the end of the year, Smalt's freaking cup, this and that. Now they do it 4 teams tournament style, correct?
Yeah.
Now, would you rather see it stay like that, or would you rather see it go to a series?
I'm a big series guy. I thought it'd be cool to have the fans, like have your home fans, like get to watch the game, get to experience that. But I mean, the experience in Guelph was a lot of fun too, being on campus and just kind of being away for about like 4 or 5 days. You almost thought as if you're like kind of like the World Juniors or something like that. Just playing hockey and chilling with the boys somewhere that's not too close to home. And yeah, I mean, if we were to do this again, I'd love to play in the series. I think that's how all hockey finals should be determined. But I wasn't too upset with that format at all.
All right, fair enough. Tris,
Yeah.
do you have anything else for him, or?
Yeah, I do have one question. So, what is your biggest, or I guess, yeah, your most favorite memory from your entire hockey career?
I mean,
Specific incident, like a specific thing. I know it's like, oh, Schmaltz Cup, but like, what's one moment?
yeah, I mean, after that, I think like just in terms of like a personal one moment, the Essex Arena where I think it was the Wexa Championship, we're playing may have been Brennan or Amherstburg. I think it was Brennan. Overtime, and I was fortunate enough to get the goal, and I think that moment was just super cool. The stands were packed. It was like the student section was going nuts, and I'd probably say that was like the best personal moment I've had. And then winning a Schmaltz and like winning 2 MHAs when I was younger, those were probably the best team accomplishments that
All the girls at school, oh, Marco, you scored in overtime, you big stud.
They put on the announcements, and I felt pretty good. And
boy, well,
everyone would like say, "Hey, congrats!" And that
Yeah,
was
hold your head high.
I'm just fucking with you, man. I always mess with people. It's all good, brother. No, but seriously, man, thank you so much. This has been great. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll be watching, and maybe sometime soon we'll shoot out to Lakeshore there, and we can actually like have a chat face to face.
Yeah,
sounds good. Yeah, for sure. That's been awesome.
Thanks, brother.
Loved having you on, Marco. Thank you for coming out.
Thanks, boys.
I've lost my fight with time. My numbers up and up the line. I gaze at the darkness, so empty. Just looking for the light. Shout for help, but no one's there. Need a guiding hand, someone who cares. All alone in the darkness, I've realized for the first time I am scared. If I could do it all again, if I had one more chance, my friend, I would rewrite all my wrongs. I would find where I belong. I got lost along the way. I had so much more to say. If I could do